What were we talking about?
We're talking about like how life is a mirror.
Yeah.
Life is really a mirror.
What's within?
Yeah.
I do like that comment a lot.
I like how like when you meet people, I don't know, like they're always expecting people like really do try to judge books by its cover, but you can't really because everyone's so different and everyone projects different frequencies, different energies, and like you really can feel it off people, you know?
I also feel like when you judge a book by its cover, you're judging your own book to a certain extent.
Yeah, you are.
Because I feel like when you feel strong emotions towards someone's like appearance, what they're doing, it's really a reflection of yourself.
Yeah.
Because think about if you think about like almost anyone negatively, even if the stuff that we're talking about that they're doing something negative,
Yeah.
it's kind of a reflection on yourself that you're really like worrying about it or thinking about it in a way that's like, well, like there's times when I'll like my mindset shifts from a healthy one towards a negative one to where there's points where I'll like look at someone like a little lesser because
Which you should never do.
Which you shouldn't, because that's a reflection on myself.
Yeah, because exactly.
Because I think the best mindset in terms of that is to think of everyone, whether what they're doing is wrong or right. We don't even know if it's wrong or right. They could be right, probably no.
Right.
Is like, from our point of view, is that those are people with fucking so much potential. Everyone has potential.
And dude, that's really like, I think since shifting mindsets to really like building and just like creating a better reality for yourself, you start to like really like feel a sense of gratitude, and you realize that like everyone can like change and reach their full potential. Like there's no limit to anybody.
There isn't any limit.
And like you were just saying, like what you were saying, like you see other people and you just see like how they could be better.
It's like shifting a mindset from one of someone. I mean, the glass half full type of thing, where it's just like someone is less because they don't have something. Where you could just shift that to thinking like they have so much room to fill up with something else. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think it's just like people like at first you don't really believe in yourself. Like it's really hard to believe in yourself. It takes so much work. And the thing is like it kind of has to be like ignited in you. And I'm starting to realize that I feel like there's really only like two ways to change. There's only like two ways to change. It's like either through like pain or like insight.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
What do you think sparked your own self-confidence? Whether it's complete or incomplete, you know?
Sparked my self-confidence? I think
and
really
how like if you were to think about like on a scale of being like supremely self-confident or completely unconfident, where do you think you lie on that thing? And what do you think sparked? I mean, it's like a good thing to talk about. Like, where do you think you started? When do you think recently were you low on that scale? And what got you to grow?
Like low in terms of just like,
self-confidence. Like you just like, not even that you were just like sitting there like being unconfident in yourself, but that like there was like a point where you just like, you weren't sure of what you were doing, like just like kind of coasting, not really sure of what you were doing. If someone were to like say something about you, you'd kind of take it to heart.
Yeah.
Where do you think you grew away from that?
I don't even think it has to do with me. It's just like I think about this a lot about us young men, is that like a lot of our young lives, like we're just coasting, right? Like a lot of, like you were saying, like we don't really have a purpose yet, and we're kind of just like things come into your life and in and out of your life. And I think for me especially, like I started to really change when I realized like I just kind of looked around and I saw that like everyone's kind of relaxing like as much as possible, like when they don't have work to do. And then I also paired that with like researching like ancient people and how people like really struggled but found purpose in struggle. And it's almost like we were talking about, like you are writing your own story, and this like even if there's a lot of pain, like it's beautiful, like that's really like where you gain confidence, is just through like the pain of like maybe inflicting it to yourself, like working out, or like, you know, just like even like today we got up early on a Saturday morning, and instead of sleeping in under our covers, like we literally just inflicted pain. Like we were running, push-ups, pull-ups, and then like through that we're now out here and we're just vibrating so high. Like Like you can't bring us down from this frequency that we elevated ourselves.
We
to.
created those vibrations ourselves by working out. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like, I think coming back to that question you're saying is that a lot of us young men, like, we kind of need like a process to get us up. Like I remember, like I opened Marcus Aurelius Meditations this morning, and the first thing I saw was straight, not straighten, and I love that because it's almost like, it's like you're never just gonna wake up and be straight. Like you always have to straighten yourself.
Yeah.
You know?
You always gotta make your bed.
Yeah.
You always got. It's not gonna make itself. You know?
Yeah, like nothing. It's all straightening. Like getting your, and like once you do that, like you have like a little process. Like you do elevate to like a certain frequency where you're confident. Like you were asking.
I mean, some of the greatest works of art, I feel like, all come from an area of struggle, and I feel like that
They all do.
that goes to show that like your life. I mean, like what we were talking earlier, your life is art to a certain extent,
It is.
and like we were talking about, like when you offer up your authentic self to the world, and you are as authentic as you can be, like that in itself, it may not be creating music, it may not be making a movie, it may not be making a painting, but it's art in its own self, like. And art takes effort, art takes struggle too, and it's just like, but to make something beautiful like that, you have to.
Yeah, and I think the big switch too is embracing that pain, because a lot of people like, and I guess you kind of have to figure that out through failing, because like at first you're like, oh, like I don't want to get out of bed and work out, or like why would I eat right? But it's like through the pain of like actually applying that raw action, like that's what builds confidence. Like what you're talking about, like you become more confident when you're consistently like putting yourself through a process of pain, because as men, like we need pain to get us to the next level.
And it really never ends either.
It never ends, and a lot of people like are scared of that, but it's really, like we said, it's a beautiful thing.
It is.
Like the world is pain, and it's not terrible. Like it's beautiful.
And that's like a thing. At a certain point, to get better, to be successful or something like that, there's the beginning ones that you can do where it's like eat healthy, exercise, stuff like that. And for almost everyone, those first steps are very hard.
Yeah.
And even those hard things, at a certain point, like even how we are with eating right now, it's not that difficult for me anymore at all. Eating right, like
because you front load so much that it becomes like easy. Like I
but
remember
you always find new things that are hard to do.
Yeah.
Like for me, quitting smoking was like a more difficult one. Even though I was in this like super healthy mindset, it was still like, that's a way more difficult one for me, because even though I recognized that it was wrong, it was just like something that I really enjoyed to do for bad reasons.
Right.
But, and there's always those things. And I think a big part of also meditating is finding that next challenge internally of like what you can do to become even better, even if it's hard.
Yeah.
Whether that's cutting off some person, cutting off some habit, gaining a habit that's hard to do, or just putting your head down and grinding towards something.
Yeah.
There's always some kind of more, I mean, we can say like pain you can inflict on yourself
And it's
to
good.
grow even
Yeah.
further.
And like we've talked about this before, like success, not like success like, oh, money, cars, houses, like success, your symphony of success is like, success really is subtractive. So it's getting rid of everything that's bad, getting rid of the vices, getting rid of the people that are holding you down, like elevating, you know what I'm saying? And to elevate, you kind of have to like become like minimalist, like
I
nothing.
mean, it's weights that are holding you down.
Weights that
Think
are
about
holding you down.
calisthenics, bro.
And
Weighted
you
calisthenics
lift
is
them
harder.
up. Yeah. And it's really a beautiful process, bro. And like I think like you're saying with meditation and stuff, it scares people because it is difficult to actually sit with your thoughts and feel, because the world is pain, right? So to sit with the pain of the world is very difficult. But the more you can become like comfortable with that pain, the higher you elevate.
Yeah, and the
And I've
more,
really
more,
embraced
the
that.
more and more, even us, we are thinking enough about the world, where even though we recognize like so many fuck things happen, but we recognize at the end of the day that it is beautiful. But then there's parts of it that still hurt us in some way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's still things that we might think about a little too much, or things of that sort. But at the same time, it's like the more you think about it, the more you find more beauty out of that pain, and the more you find more pain to eventually find more beauty out of it.
Yeah. And I
You know?
think one of the beautiful parts about like adopting some type of meditation or practice is that you do gain that confidence like you're asking me about, where it's almost like nothing can really affect you, because like you're so in tune with what you're doing. It's like, this is my process, and it really gives you that confidence, because like once you get to that point, you like won't really break out of it. Like you're so locked into what you're doing that like no one can really bother you, and that's the ultimate confidence.
Yeah.
When you know yourself so much that you know others, because we're all human, we're all similar. So when you know yourself, you know others. Like I know myself so well that I know everyone I talk to. I know exactly what they're doing, and it's not like an egotistical thing. It's just like I know like we're humans. We're all the same.
Yeah.
We all start as a child born into this world, and that's it.
Yeah.
There's no difference between like Marcus Aurelius compared to like us.
Yeah.
It's just a man
Yeah.
or a
Just
woman.
a man who's in some sort of situation.
Yeah,
And there's men in those situations who choose to do the wrong things, and there's men in those situations who choose to do the right thing.
yeah. Like we talked about this morning too. Like a podium somewhere and a prison cell are both just places.
Yeah.
It's all in your mind, like how you're attacking the situation.
This is just a place, a classroom's just a space, and like a place like this, well, while it is probably places like these are probably the best places to really sit down and ponder about these things.
Yeah,
You can do the same thing wherever you are. Like you said, a prison cell. If anything, a prison cell, we'd be pondering some deep ass shit.
yeah. We would.
You know what I
We'd
mean?
be learning like some
Yeah.
crazy stuff. Yeah.
Fucking,
like-
let's fucking go to prison level.
Let's go. Yeah. Learn a lot.
I don't know if I want to go to prison though.
Yeah, I think the thing with prison
I'd
is,
rather ponder out here.
yeah, you're wasting a lot of time.
Yeah.
But the thing is that like,
We're just using that as an example.
yeah, as an example. Yeah. I don't know, man. It's a crazy life.
Crazy, man.
Dude, this one was a banger.
Yeah.
Like, we could already end this.
You could.
We could cut it.
Do you want to? I'm kind of down to keep riffing.
Yeah, I think there's a spot that we hit where I was like, we can cut it there. Because we just spit some gems.
Yeah, make it a short one. Why not?
Yeah. And like, dude, this
Is that
is
not
like,
thunder?
it might be. It looked, yeah. Dude, this is like a meditation too, though.
It is.
Like-
Communicating with intent, or even without intent. But like, even when you have it without intent, for us, I feel like it's still like it's a form of meditation, because it's like, I think also like a really difficult thing when meditating is that like, especially when you don't put it into words, it's a little hard to visualize and have things that are in here stick.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because it's almost like you're talking, but you like aren't talking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times it's a little more difficult to meditate because you really, really have to focus within.
You really do.
But when you talk it out loud like this, especially how we're doing, like I'm flowing, like I'm saying what comes to mind. Sometimes even like I'll say something and I'm like, there's some things that like I'll like, in an ideal world I would have said it a little differently, but like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? But when you're just flowing, it's the same thing as meditating, because we're just pondering, like talking about what we're talking about, and it just happens to be something that we think is very valuable. And, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and the thing is it literally is like, we elevated ourselves through our workout this morning to a high frequency. We didn't have any vices like holding us down, like lowering anything. So we're literally like talking directly to each other, flowing, because like we've brought ourselves up to this frequency where we can have, and we're in nature, we can have a good conversation, and there's no distraction on our minds. We're just two people flowing. in
Yeah,
a
and we've done what
complete
we
flow
needed to
state.
do today, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're just in the state of where we have the privilege of just sitting down and pondering.
Yeah,
You know, beautiful.
it's beautiful.